Yeah. Well, I said I have no interest in domain chemicals. I said domain chemicals has been blocked up by domain of biodome itself, which is the domain of polymer system that can go off like somewhat use pressure. Yeah, you could literally block chemicals with just energy on the space. Yeah, perfect seals on the space. I say again. Yeah, perfect seals with a unique attachment beyond oxygen layer that's been contained. Yeah, that'll go off on act like the supply for that is contained within the seal over there. That's all. So you never have to worry about the chemical warfare. The chemical warfare is only the only reason why it's there as a warfare itself is because it's the pores. That's all. Yeah, that's the pores warfare you ever come across specific. What's up? So when you move up into my ladder over here, what's up? By the time you're done, you're aware of the chemical system over here. The only sad part about your story itself, as long as the chemical system exists, is that part of the wall is supposed to close off to you. So initially you cannot travel to the wall and go in certain spaces here and there that you wish you could go, because of the fact that you cannot afford to move without your special equipment in the system. Yeah, otherwise, unless you have a special detector, but even if you have a special detector and a special system, and no telling if you're quick enough to go off and have the system go off and wrap around you specifically and be able to protect you from the chemical system. That is until I decide whether or not your robotic software that's invisible should be able to give you a 0.0000000.001% second to then go off and wrap around you, and then eventually give you a limited amount of time. Yeah, to breathe to it. It's just going to start. So your oxygen system is going to be limited versus having an infinite amount of oxygen system on it. What's up? Right. Well, that is my prediction on how I'm going to counter the chemical system in the future. Because I said again, my main point and my main objective is to always have a robotic system right next to me. That's always invisible. Yeah, I can also turn into an invisible bike or go off and be my invisible suit on the space up. So all of a sudden I turn into like, I don't know, Saint Seiya over them. Instead of carrying the robotic system on my back over here, that's made out of atomic threads. Yeah, from like whatever Athena system, I don't know, it could have been made out of Athena's pussy juice or something like that. Yeah, his Saint armor that's made out of the constellation system over here. That's all. Yeah, so I said by the end of the day, all of the stars, yeah, directly from the gods as well. Yeah, but I said we live in new times where Saint Seiya doesn't have to carry his armor on his backpack no more. That's all. His armor carry itself and will power carry Saint Seiya as a backpack, and that's still metal like dick inside of Saint Seiya. Fuck him if it was good. So I said by the end of the day, yeah. So first thing first, we create visuals. Yeah, to do go off and have enough computer model power. That's why. Yeah, to then go off on like a somewhat molded system, and then internally within the database, depending on the sample that we took specifically, we want to take shortcuts around the space here with all the sampling that we did. We could go off and like quickly calculate into a 3 dimensions field, both externally and internally, but in length, width, and a dimension, a height, and stuff, and other circular system and stuff. The 3D system and the entire plant system to a branch system over here, depending on how fast we can compute our system over how fast we can communicate over the wireless system to then go off and like modelize a 3D object like that. So like I said, by the end of the day, first thing first, we're going somewhat holographic like everything in a 3-dimensional system over here. So by the time I have that's just an example. So by the time I have my little ball over here, my special light, I'll go like not flashbang, poof. Just an example, flashbang expands into like I don't know, magnetism, electromagnetism with the light, right? But it doesn't go into one motion as if it's like steam into one wave that just disappears and stop right into like one pulsation. Yeah, it's gonna be somewhat like a plasma-like field, but it's not gonna be plasma at all. That's how plasma is too weak for what I wanted to do. So yeah, so it's gonna keep on going as if it's like a pressurized, mysterized system. Yeah, but at the same time, it's gonna mold everything that I need specifically. Yeah, as if the entire space that is not filling the tree, that the tree is within, that's where to oxygen itself, will get filled by that system, and then go off and like touch and identify and mold my system over here or something. And because of the fact that I already took my time to go off and put that database or like what's inside that tree, my system didn't have to do that. So we won't bypass a certain layout. Yeah, because that other technology is going to be God-sent technology across the space here, but we want to take a shortcut, which is to like a virtualization system over here. Yeah, so the minute that I get to touch that, recognize it, and correct it, I get to like immediately have a database that I go off and pull out what that looks like both internally and like the molecular level for as big as it is. I thought, yeah, across all spaces. So if it's like 6 foot tall, that trunk is like 6 foot tall over here with a radius of like, I don't know, a 40 inch square booty or something, or 50 inch. Thank God for these. I don't know, man. I try to just be satisfied. Yeah, with just butts over here, what's up, but somewhere God just threw that type of ass in front of me, with this type of ass in front of me, with this type of ass in front of me, with this type of ass in front of me, with all these butts in front of me, and then he threw all that poverty in front of me, and then he threw all this money inside my pocket, and then he threw that brain inside my head over here. What's up? And by the time I'm done over here, yeah, I'm like, damn. I said, yeah, I said, he gave me all that work with all these butts. Of course, it's special, huh? Yeah, it's tough, man. Yeah, so again, so good luck, man. I must salute my child if he's a man, with all the work that he has to do, and that ass, this ass, man. And nothing I can do about it, man. Somewhere in the time where I'm like, I don't know, chicks that won't go off and pretend to be males that won't go off and hate on me for being the competition, because we both compete for the females that she wants us all. It's only natural, but at the same time, I'm like, yo, there's too many females around this place, and then she's like deaf to all men. I'm like, oh my God, you're a soldier, aren't you? She's like, yeah. I was like, I'm not visible. What's up? Yep. So somewhere where I get like all this stuff where, and that God put like 2 holes in front of me. God didn't put 1 hole in front of me. I'm sorry. He put 2 of them. I'm sorry. He put like 5 of them in front of me. I'm sorry, cause you know I'm a perv. I'm sorry. Yeah, so I made the 5th hole happen no matter what. That's how. So someone when he goes off and he goes, yeah, he puts like 2 holes on the actual hole, and like 2 extra holes somewhere else. So yeah, I just have to go like, that's just the way life works, man. And nothing I can do about it. That's all. Yeah. So I said by the end of the day, I'll forget about this chapter over there. Back on topic. I think we were talking about dimensional systems over here on the molecular level, like molds that go off and design. Create specifically, because you don't want to create a virtual system that like the system too much, so you don't want to go too much into realism itself. So that's why you compress and go off and wrap some codes around the space and you do certain things. So anyway, yeah. So the same way that you hear that sound over here, make it to you almost instantaneously, or something. That's the same way you can wrap light around a bullet itself, or something. Yeah, you could do that. You could do often like somewhat slow down light, dilute it at a certain point. And eventually you could create a field specifically that go off and like be faster than the bullet system or something. So the minute the bullet gets into that field itself, it somewhat distort that field and then eventually you have calculations to go off and tell you where is it within the field is distorted, and then eventually, just like I described, they're able to touch and mold around that system itself. You're able to go off and mold around the bullet system, or you're able to mold around the weapon system, or you're able to mold around other stuff facilities by just creating a field. Yeah, with that field. Listen, yesterday's field that you were creating was so archaic that just you try to like create multiple system of like depolation system over here, or like other affairs, to be able to try to figure out how can you go off and like use 10,000 squares to then go off and create a triangular dick over there. So you have to go off and figure out a formula, yeah, based off of a system over here to then go off like move to a interdimensional system based off like the molecular setup of that system itself to be somewhat travel information to that space area. So the molecular system over here was like a square circular, like I'm just making fun of it. As if it was just like a square circular triangle polygonal, I don't know, polygonal polygamy, yeah, homosexual lattice system over here. Then you go off and like draw elephants around the space area infinitely, because all bunch of elephants are like stuck together. So you have to go off and travel to like a 3-dimensional system, or like the elephant system, into like a path itself that was so long that eventually when you multiply this path itself, it turned out to like 5 miles. But luckily you're using light. Light is like, yo, what the fuck is a mile over here? Is that like 180,000 of them? Yeah. Within like 1 second, I don't fucking know, man. I said light just said like, wow, what's 5? I don't know. What's yeah, I don't know. What's a kilometer into my thing? Right. Well, I couldn't tell us. Right. Well, I said that was back then. And stuff like that. it stays so fucking good to know that I'll be fucking you up financially very soon, because I'm the real one. So I said by the end of the day, yeah, I said by the end of the day, you know, yeah. So back in the topic over here. Now, but so I got too much work over here. That's all. Like too much critics. A man with $0 in his pocket over can go off and take his time as a single male. Yeah, to be in a room over here, rubbing his hands in like some female pervert butt over here. I try to get her money, and they go off and do a ritual. So that's what's hot. Always another nigga, so hot. That's another hoe. So I think we're talking about structures and systems, right? So your structure and your system affected how you go off and like someone apply information, and that used to like some system around the space side, right? So someone, my ass over there, decided to fuck, yeah, and then also it made information because of the fact that back then, just like I said, because of that system itself, where they had to go off and like try to see if they can draw on a car around it with circles on top, because that's how they used to do the film due to limitation. That's why to the computer system over here that prevent them from creating proper virtualization models. That's why to a two-dimensional film, because of the fact that it was too much to compute. It was generating too many numbers that were too large and too fast to go off and like somewhat right across the space area without overheating the element of the system itself and clogging up if in a virtual memory space area. Yeah, that didn't have enough power across the space area. So they had to take that circle over on like a miniature scale like these leaves, time 1 million in a three-dimensional phase area, so it'd be a sphere, and then go off and see if they could draw this car in a three-dimensional phase area only with these circles here, time 1 million in a sphere. I'm sorry, this sphere is here. It's a circle, but it's not a sphere. But I use the circular system over here. I call it a sphere, little bubbles that they had to go off and multiply 1 million times over to go off and see if they could design a car in a two-dimensional system over here. Right. I mean, I was a thing on the past, man. Then enter the dragon over here, the dragonite. I don't know, man. I can't imagine being Charmander going off to like meet was it Dratini? Yeah, meeting Dratini. Dratini was like all cool and elegant, man, sexy and stuff, like being all cute with like his big boop nose or something. And then Miss Charmander over there with like his flaming tail, because you know the fire in the tail itself is something that is unique that even like a Dragonite over there will go off. I feel impressed by. Yeah, so you know you got two little dragon little things over there, and then eventually Charmander becomes somewhat slick. Yeah, so does Dragonite, Dratini into like its next evolution over here. So by the time I have Charmeleon, what the fuck that shit is? A chameleon? That's like that's a car this on. Yeah, at that time I have that second evolution turned into a beautiful evolution over here, like that's called Charizard. Where I have like the fucking multi-flame Charizard over here. Someone I think I have a multi-flame Charizard somewhere. Something like that. And by the time I get my shiny Pokemon Charizard over here, it goes like, yeah, he's fighting Magma over here. If I punch inside of a volcano over here, so yeah, to go out for like fucking find his what's it called, his submission. Yeah, his around the world technique over there. Where he goes around, he act like Zangief, and he does like a suplex with like magma, like a retarded Russian with his missing eyebrow. So somehow he does he does a power driver with magma. Yeah, I get Dratini over here turned into a fucking fat dragon. Yeah, that has no purpose whatsoever outside the domain of like thunder shock. Yeah, ice beams aside, not even the hyper beam aside. Yeah, the only good thing that was good about Dragonite aside was just the fact that he had a fucking ice beam. So I could go off and substitute him for like ice Pokemons whenever I want him. And then give him, I don't know, did he get the surf ability? I don't know. I don't think you needed water back then. Yeah, for whatever ice could have touched back then, I saw it could have touched the same domain of water, I think. Yeah. Now then I think they gave him a psychic ability. I saw it. Then eventually Dragonite became a overpowered bastard. Yeah, that they need to like find a way to like nerf and like go off and like give you a different type of like Omega evolution to replace that little Dragonite fucking demon, that like little fat bastard over there. Yeah, with his flight ability. I'm glad they give the Pokemon form moves on the Spacer side. Yeah, because all the moves that you go up and give Dragonite used to be like a critical hit. Yeah, you give him a punch on all the moves over the outside. You give him like the thunder shock over the outside, the lightning strike or some shit like that. They're all high level PPM abilities that like you only get like 15 moves out of each one of them, which means they're all expensive to be able to somewhat deal with, of course, especially. So you have to use them wisely. Yeah. So you give I don't know, some people like to give him flight. I like to give him flight because of the fact that flight buys me time, of course, especially every time I fly I get to buy flight gives me like at least one immunity on the special. Yeah, that was until they give me rock slide or rock pro. Now rocks are falling from the fucking sky while I'm out of play. I was fucking flying top of it, I'm getting hit in the air or something. I think that's what happened. Yeah, so now the devs were like, well, we're gonna go off and think about rock, paper, scissors. Yeah. If he can fly, then we're gonna create a move to him when he flies. Other bastards. Yeah, but back then, I don't know, I used to create a fucking rotation out of that to go off like exploits. Yeah, invincible frames or like the flight or like the dig technical. Yeah. So I didn't have to go off and use substitute over here. Yeah, to buy time or like go off and like use substitute to go off and make my opponent waste his PPM. Yeah, this is his power moves. So I said by the end of the day, yeah, they give me a little fat dragon over here. Yeah, versus like Charizard that look all fucking handsome. Not sure like that. I don't know. My Dragoon type like Pokemon over here looks like a fucking dragon. I'm sorry, they give me a fucking Mockery all a dragon race over here, like a fat belly with a fat chicks with like a weird ass fucking antenna. That nigga went from being blue to like being yellow or some shit like that. Yeah. Nah, I still wanted to know what happened to the fat fucking Dragonite over here inside the real Pokemon world. That like a big ass fucking Dragonite. Yeah, it's like why didn't that nigga over here show up inside the Pokemon movie or yeah, go off and fuck up Mewtwo or some shit like that. Yeah, one Hyper Beam from that motherfucker over here probably would have fucked up Mewtwo's fucking barrier. I don't know, man. That's just that way. No, I said we're gonna figure it out. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they followed it out. So, like I was saying, yeah, so just like your ears over here, you're gonna learn properly your ears within the biological world over here. I tell you stuff about ears, of course, the space out, but we know we live in a three-dimensional system. That way we could go off and create things faster and things don't like us up. So that means we could create 3D system on a molecular system over here with electricity. Other components that's to microcontroller, ability to like someone energize it, so we can go off and copy architectures, miniaturize it, and be able to like someone input it into a different system. Well, just like the ears where you have the sound and stuff in them. Yeah, that could happen nowadays and stuff. Yeah, versus like what they had back then, where they had to go off and use spheres to then go off and see if they could create a clock in the two-dimensional system, which would be raised for like a radio communication on the space here. To then act as a radar or sonar on the space. So, like I was saying, it feels so good over here. I like the way you feel. It's too bad you're another species over here. Yeah, so I don't know. I would have some feminist someone telling me that I'm raping you or molesting, making you feel uncomfortable. Mr. or Madame Tree over here that goes off for like get the freak on during spring. Oh, it's springtime. That's why I got so much cum. Is that tree cum? Oh my god, I just had tree cum this I'm pretty sure, is all this pollen? My god. Nah, that can't be pollen, so if it is pollen, not Poland, yeah, right next to Europe and stuff, but Poland, tree cum. Yeah. I said again, these trees over here get their free cum inside their own society where they don't have to get arrested or looked at by other females, of course, especially inside. You know, the tree will go off and bust a nut. Yeah, in the face of my baby over here. Every fucking spring. Where the tree violated human beings with like its own semen. So by the time I get tree semen inside my nose over here as a human being, Right. Well, I don't know, man. So somewhere, I said, we get to like reshape or we design certain systems in like a two-dimensional way, because I said back then it was stationary. You point it this way, and then you go off and you build something this way over there, and they just have an airplane fire on top of the space and stuff with this nuclear power system, and then eventually we go off and create this big magnetic field across the space and stuff, and then eventually that magnetic field itself is going to wrap itself on other things over there, and then you eventually put in this data and this information based off like the secrets that we stole from the opponent over on top, and this is the vibration and the sound of that system itself that will be able to be recognized. Yeah, that we're going to find like somewhat penetrate our field. Yeah. Well, I said I got better shit to go off and do in terms of all things. So by the end of the day, you pick up the sound of the system itself, or the light, or the metallic object in terms of field that you design. That's where it's like immerse in the space. It's have energy that you get to control. Fill around the space in a two-dimensional way with an extra system that you could go off and break apart and recharge very quickly, with a unique battery system, with a unique memory system, because of the fact that if you have paid attention what's inside the drone, SSD to go off and contain the software or for the hardware that has to operate around the space, like the calibration or the gyroscope, come out with the GPS system and the frame that's come with like the camera system over there. So all of these is things that take energy on the space, and all of these are things that are somewhat affected by the weather physically, especially the screen of that camera system or so. So somewhere, yeah, all these have like latency. That's way to the hardware. How fast the hardware communicate based on the distance of the cable, all that stuff I've talked myself. But you always pay attention to the weight. Yeah, combined with like the technology and the system that will happen over time or so. So I'm not too impressed with some of this stuff with them, because I said the reason why I didn't have that back then or stuff was because of the fact that my politicians and my lawmakers were arguing so many arguments that's way to like regulations to be somewhat regulate certain type of technology and making it bannable on the space. That's why my cities until the sky over here don't have too many drones flying around the space, even though we had drone technology for like 10-20 years ago. Also, the scooters, same things. They didn't want to go off and like apply bike laws to like scooters and type of things that they have a motor on them. So they had to go off and like swap to different system over here, and then when you go off and rewrite what is a motor versus a non-motor over here, because they already established laws to motors based off the car system that they operate under, because of the fact that they are built an entire highway, an entire system, a set of rules for it. So somebody that to differentiate between what you identify as this versus that over here. Somebody that did it with the guns and stuff. That's about the end of the day. And then I don't know why is it that I got people inside my phone over here to come in and fucking hit just because of the fact that I sound fucking intelligent. So I couldn't figure out how the fuck you exist as somebody like that. Oh, hi, they're intelligent people. You think smarter than me? Yeah, I got A grades inside my own student. Yeah, I was like, oh, what the fuck is this shit? Is it sucking my dick? Kick it out the way or something. Yeah, just like a dead body. Yeah, what the fuck is this shit? Does it think that it's like a superhero? Like, what's his alter ego? Does it think it's like a Grand Chaos Witch? Yeah, I think that you go off for like fucking I don't know, have powers around the space or that. I tried to tell that shit that it was just boring as fuck. I thought, yeah, get the fuck out of the store. So fucking right on my dick over. I was like, oh my god. Yeah. So. I said by the end of the day, you have data to go off and translate across the space on. I said that. No, so by the time you build up your data is going to look like this inside your system, right? It's going to look like all these little rocks. What a fucking loser. So, I can't wait to start shooting these niggas. So somewhere, that was just a joke. That's awesome. So I said by the end of the day, these rocks over here. Do you know how fucking annoying is this fucking fact of these losers we have? Go off and wake up the child or the baby from the newborn mother that's fucking sleeping in that space where I might be somewhat evil, but later I'm not that fucking retarded and evil to then go off and take my bike over here and then go off and like wake up every kid that's sleeping, so that by the time the mother over there gave from a 10-hour shift from like a nurse shift over here, Yeah, to go off and do her overtime for like the whatever emergency that she had. She put the child to sleep after she took the child to daycare. Now has to go off and wake up for like the next 4 hours to go off and try to put that child back to sleep. So that within the next 2 hours, she can go off and wake up, take the child to the daycare, and then make it to work while she's all tired and stuff like that. Fuck this shit. Fuck. Oh my god. So I wish I could fucking shoot this bonus aside. Yeah, that's you're that evil that you won't go off and fucking wake up a child and ruin the mother's day over here. Especially if she's like a new mother over here. That's like a teenager. Yeah, that don't know what to do with a child over here. What's up? And eventually she want to chase after the boyfriend over here. That won't go off and leave her behind because he cannot afford the child. And then that's why she start cutting herself because the space is up. And then the child drives her crazy, and that's why she learned to abuse the child more on the spaces up. And then eventually, if the child get too much attention for the father and she's still young, she's gonna feel a certain type of jealousy for the child. Most likely, she has a higher level. I'll be able to kill the child in the process of that. So it's a space where you have to somewhat stabilize it and someone walk the little girl very gently across the space out and be able to give her that time and that frame itself to go off and mature and be able to like someone build a muscle. And then someone have a healthy family across the space. So by the time she's out there panicking or being stressed as a younger person with a kid in her hand, and she's developing a dark personality and traits and stuff, and eventually one day she tried to put the child to sleep. I'll send these niggas over here, go off and ride the bike over here, wake up the child, and then next thing you know, the mother killed the child in the process. That's why I hate these niggas a lot. I don't fucking like them. I want them dead into my offense. That's why I want you. Yeah, I told you, if it was me on you inside of a room over here, that's way to a black site. XXX sensor. Cheesy. So that's about the end there. Yeah. So the data that you use specifically, so because you build so much data to go off and like somewhat tabulate information, that's way to identities and the system in the two-dimensional field. That's way to like certain properties that only relate to like what you tested specifically into research and development. So all that data, when you assemble it, it's supposed to look like that. So that space wheel as rock. So by the time you put that data in there, it's stored. Yeah. By the time you create your field specifically, every time you have your field, and somebody comes through that field itself, you have another system over here that's going to go off and create a unique shape, a unique system to then go off and pick that data within that space around and go off and compare it to, match it, lock it in, and then give you an identity while you have your eye closed like nail across the space around. Yeah, but that's going to be in a better three-dimensional system because I said back then, little sphere goes off and create car, very fucking Stoneman-like due to outdated technology system based off energy that was just too big into morphine that go off and create heat and burn down shit. What's up? Nowadays with my system over here, immediately you can see inside that failure, depending on which construction that you want and how you want to see it. If you want to go see it outward or inward and two-dimensional system and interaction. Right. So blunt life. Extra strong air freshener. Does it smell like blunt? I don't even know what the fuck I'm spraying over. What's up? Hopefully I don't think. So I said Mr. Backwood over here. So I said by the end there. No, because you use different system, a different affair, different techniques inside. You see the same way you could go off and like take a holographic system and rotate it. Everything that shines across the space here is like you send data from around the space, which is like, I don't know, using water to like slowly wait for water to go off and wrap itself around the space inside. Yeah, whichever method you want to use specifically, but I avoid the method that will create more lag. Yeah, so I go to the holographic system because it's much faster across the space inside. The water is too much lag, even though the water might give you too much data. Right, that's why I use the cheat code over here to go off and do my research and development and then be able to put data in. Yeah, that saved me time around the space here to be able to identify and be able to see inside these trees and the system over here. So, oh no, I just broke my ankle. I'm glad I got permanent life insurance. Let me go after the VE over here in the emergency room over here. Yeah, that's my disability over here. What's up? Yep, that's the one right there. Yep, it said left foot. Yeah, left foot on the ankle over there. What's up? Yep. Now I got these white shoes over here. They're like the sole of the shoes. Yeah, the flat surface. Yeah, it's on the far right side and between the center. For odd reason, there's like a absence. I don't know. I got like soccer man football shoes over here. Yeah. They hate you. And I don't know who this day was. So when did I become the fucking friend? So, yeah, like I said, blah, 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 blah. Sphere balls are the system over here. Balls are like make car go like vroom vroom. Archaic system because of the fact that it's like you put light together to then go off like detect something that comes into light, and then gonna give you a specific shape or detail. My system over here goes down and give you dimensions in the 3D system internally down to the molecular level of that system itself. The properties are set to weight, scent, all sorts of stuff on the top, and then eventually somebody recreate itself inside a virtual environment where you get to see all this with your eye closed, just like Neo over there. And by the time you're done over here, just like in Neo, the Matrix over here, you go off and you pick up the vibration, you pick up the bullet that comes through very fast across the space here, and then you have counter system to go off and count it across the space here. And then later on, we're going to talk about invisibility technology, which is my favorite one over here. So, yeah, that'll be selling on the market unregulated and legally. Yeah. So I'll be going over the Craigslist channel and the Telegram channel, or the eBay channel, or the Walmart channel, or the street channel, That's the sound of your mother's pussy. Oh, your grandma's? Okay, I'll go to your grandma. Your grandma and your mother, because we got grandma and mother's porn. That's pretty cool. So somewhere where I got my network over here to go off and sell invisible swag, to go off and hunt down bears, wolves, koalas. Yeah, in the forest and stuff. Because you saw camouflage patterns. Why would you not want an invisible swag system over here? I don't know, maybe she might want to be warm during winter time, but she might want to show up her titties and stuff. But not just regular titties and stuff. She want to go off and showcase. I'm not sweaty titties, but she want to showcase oily titties and stuff. But maybe oily titties sequin. Oily titties with like galaxy sequin on there, like, you know, spots. The stuff over there that's like shiny, but it's like purple or something like that. Yeah, but you know, it's like 0 degrees outside. Now she has to cover up, but that's why you give her invisible thread. Now she's able to go off and wear a coat that's mad warm, but at the same time it's invisible. And now she can go off and showcase her titties until an all-star for signal shot during winter time. Yeah, or she goes off and hop onto an invisible flying car if she wants to, just like Wonder Woman. That's about the end of the day. I didn't have to be this one over here. What's up? Mr. Cyber Futuristic Designer Dude over here. What's up? I told my 38. Yeah, that's life, man. When you decide to go off and make big money, yeah, we work on some project or system like that, specific on stuff. That's life. Yeah. It tastes just as delicious as this bubble gum in my mouth. Not Princess bubble gum. Okay? She's white. So that's about the end of the day. Yeah, that's Flint's girlfriend over there. Yeah, bros before hoes. That's how I know Flint would choose me over you over there. Cause I will not break his heart. And then lead into the evil arc over there when you go off and burn down the world because my girlfriend cheated on me with a BBC. Now I must go off and join the white supremacy rank. Now I'm worshiping Satan, and now I'm doing math, and I want Baphomet and Beelzebub to go off and kill everybody, and I'm kidnapping children. Yeah. Well, that's about the idea. I got bad shit to go off and fucking do. Not that y'all still over. Nah, I say again, I gotta go off and sit tomorrow. Think how I'm gonna take a shower and go off and eat. Yeah, in the meantime, I gotta go off and make money. So I'll go off and finish my project, sell invisibility thread into the streets. That's my biggest fuck you to the feds over here. Legally, I got to fucking sell invisibility threads. Yeah, you can retrofit into a robot system over here that didn't give you the ability to go off and do a 3D film on the space out, and then go off for like somewhat detect weapons and stuff across the space out. Yeah, so I'll be selling that over the streets over here as a software, hardware, and a firmware, all sorts of stuff on laptop. I'll be Prometheus over here, giving the flame, yeah, to the rest of humanity in exchange for my money over here. I might get to my wealth. And my keys over here to my kids. Yeah, my little kids, soft chicks over here. Rubbing on my bed. I'm shit my bed over here. I make it extra pointy. So I go off like rubbing on the cheeks of my little babies over here. Yeah, might be that cool dad over here that makes them a little fat. and go off like play with them inside my little castle over. What's up? I don't want to be bothered. What's up? I'm gonna have that time over. Yeah, cause I said by the end of the day, the bitch wanted to stab me in my heart over. Why I didn't even fucking know her. Yeah, just to go off and like rob me or my fucking future over something that's related to things that had nothing to do with her, or things that's related to like her problem about sex or sharing them. I said, oh, grab the bazooka and go off and fight Mr. LTB over there. What's up? Yeah, you only get one shot at it. Yeah, and just remember the blast radius is this way over here. So by the time that, yeah, you're playing Doom, the Doom guy over here goes on and fire that bazooka. Or that demon over fire that red ball across the space, you get hit by it too many times, one of you will turn into. Yeah, that you're free to go off and do that across the space. Aside from that, yeah, welcome to the jungle commando shit over here. Like that's pretty much the warfare across the space. It's bro. Yeah, so you're free to go off and explore the cracked skull that the bullets made, or the machine gun went out to like tear apart on the space. Apparently you never smell a cracked skull with a missing brain matter all over the space. Yeah, I have too many psychopaths and like variants that experience that over and over again, especially as kids. So I said by the end of the day, yeah, especially those that are having sex on those cops. So I said by the end of the day, yeah, I don't know, man. The chick just wanted to go off and get mad about stuff that's related to like different cycles that go off and kidnap people. When in reality, I have like an army of cycles. I go off and kidnap people, and that's what form part of economy over there, as a security layout to go off and counter other species on the space to make sure they don't gas them on the space. So they use evil to go off and fight evil. So that's why I get to like maintain my neutrality across certain techniques, certain waves across the space because of the fact that you never seen that evil inside the domain of warfare. Yeah, that's why you don't let your guard down inside the domain of war. If your commander told you to like go off and like be like a war person over here, that's right to a shadow of death or something. No, you're just gonna be that. Don't listen to Mrs. FBI. She's retarded because she's gonna get hit by the shadow of death for them. Yeah, I said you have no fucking clue how fucking annoying it is to like go off and know what war is as a shadow of death, and then eventually I get a weird ass fucking bitch over here. I won't go off and like talk about white G. I'm like, oh my god, go that way. Yeah, because by the time I look at these tracks inside Ukraine over here from the Russians, I won't slap the shit out of that FBI agent over and over again. What's up? Nah, I said just tie that bitch down, the nigga over here. Just strap down to a missile and just send them directly. Yeah, inside the Ukrainian space wheel. Or the Ukrainian will go off and like use them as like a shield if you're on a tank or something like that. Fuck this people. So I said by the end of the day, yeah, me Mr. over there, the one. I asked to be chosen. Yeah, that's why I tell you I'm never above God. Always under. That's so my ego does not go off when I get me to get God's wrath across the space. Because by the time he smite my ass or something, you already know I'm gonna go directly. Well, I'm already going there as a killer, so it doesn't make a difference. Right. So I said by the end of the day, well, at least I already not get smite by God, by all my time on earth. Yeah, so I said by the end of the day, yeah, invisible technology, weapons detection systems, tits with oil, and then money in my pocket, and like little babies that swing back and forth on my arm, and then flying cars that go invisible, and cool swags across the space. I like that, man. Yeah, that's a cool ass story that I decided to wake up into in the 21st century. What's up? I'll go off and do specific. What's up? Nah, because in this century, I could go off on like a quick simulation of virtualization before I go off and test. Yeah, so I could take all these rocks over here and go off and observe them times 1 million carefully, each one by one. It's a virtual simulation. It's on my computer system over here, and then go off and create other simulation across the space based on like other people's data that they put in for free. Yeah, to then go off like somewhat what's that called? No, galvanized certain systems. So yeah, because galvanization itself is another fucking headache across the space. So by the time I use my galvanization virtualization system over here to go off and put everything together as a compositional model system itself. So yeah, I'm already done here. So these people thought I was gonna go on Alibaba, go off and buy a clock timer, a set of transistors or resistors, certain active components around the space, maybe a P2 plate, Yeah, the system over here or something that I go off of like someone try to like go off and like solder some things on the table over here. And then go off and create me a radio antenna Dragon Ball Z detector on the space. I tried to tell that nigga over here that I don't have time to go off and use old wave system over here. I have to create new wave system that does exactly what I told you. We'll go off and like somewhat wrap itself around some things across the space out, and then be able to give me back a 3D feedback across the space out. So I'm not using spheres versus spheres. I like bubbles to go off and create a car. So I'm gonna create something new on the space that you correct, or on the space that's not stationary, that should get to break down and wrap itself across some things across the space out, and we'll go off and give me a better result. But I get to use a different channel, a different system within a different system to go off like be my hardware. That'll go off and act as my transistors on my computational power on the things across the space out. And then by the time you're like, well, Mr. Oliver, I'll be like, well, Mr. Oliver told you that ain't nobody else fucking do it. The fuck is your fucking point? Fuck, nigga.